Hey Tom, I need to show something. I got a new mount.
Oh, you did?
Hey, look, isn't it majestic?
Oh my gosh, Marty, that is wow! Like that's a huge mount. That's amazing. How much did that cost you?
Only $90.
What the fuck? Hello, welcome to Talking WoW. My name is Tom, and over there is Mr. Moneybags, Marty, and we are here today to talk about a little game called World of Warcraft. And well, hello, Marty. Start off. Let's do that. Let's say hello to you.
Thank you for introducing me, and then just keep talking and not letting
Yeah,
me
just talk right over
actually
you.
acknowledge that I'm here at all. But I'm here, and I have a new mount.
You do. I'm still recovering from the shock of all of that. And yes, we're here because we're talking about the new limited time store mount, which has raised a lot of conversation, hasn't it, Marty, in the World of Warcraft community? Why don't you tell us a little bit more about your new mount?
About my new mount, or
Your new mount.
or the mount.
The mount, yes.
So this is the newest mount I got added to the Blizzard store, and it's a brutal store. It has an auction house and a mailbox on the back. It is basically a reskin, not just a recolor, a little bit of a reskin. There are some differences to the in-game mount that you could buy for I don't know how many millions of gold.
I believe it was 5 million.
There we go.
Gold.
There we go. A lot of gold. And it's, you can now, Blizzard said that they would never put that particular amount, available.
They said that, didn't they?
They did say
They said
that. And I mean, I guess they are keeping their word because this is a different mount. It has different thing on the back. It looks
There's
different.
always a loophole, isn't there, Marty?
Yeah.
There's always a loophole with these things. There's always a way around it.
yeah. So you can now buy that for monies. And I just want to say that, there's no question about it. This is a success. We were like 6-7 people sitting on Discord when this mount dropped, so to speak. And I think within the first 5 minutes of us talking about it, full mounts were purchased among the people that we were just our little Discord conversation.
Yeah, I mean, the most expensive, I guess, microtransaction, like a
Nothing
pet or
micro about it. Let's just call
Nothing
it
micro about
it's a
that.
transaction. It's not even a
Transactions,
microtransaction. It's just
I
a
would say it's quite a
transaction.
major transaction, actually.
Yeah.
Anything sort of over $50, I'm sort of like, oh, well, I actually have to think about this a little bit. So, yeah, that's dropped in. I want to sort of set a precedent here. This episode is not going to be a chastising of people who have bought this mount. It's a big thing that's happened in the game. So we want to talk about it. And we're going to do that in a, very calm way. We're not pointing any fingers. First off, if you've got money and you want to spend it, you spend it whatever you want. Like, we've all spent money on stuff, right? Where we maybe look back later on and go, oops, but
I mean, I bought a brand new chair that I'm sitting in right now that probably I paid a little bit too much for.
How many
compared to
mounts? How many mounts could you've bought with that instead of the chair?
What
2.
would that be?
Right, okay.
No, 6.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, I mean, that puts things into perspective, doesn't it? It's like you could have 6 mounts or 1 chair.
But I mean, for 6 mounts, I could go to Northern Ireland and visit you, and I am. So, I know the prices.
You should have bought more mounts. To be fair, that would have been better. But yes, here we go. We've got this on the store now, and it's only here for a limited time. So, I mean, I guess one thing you can say, cashing into that FOMO, and people buy these things. People like to support the game, and I guess one of the things, Marty, is which gets you sort of scratching your head is going, well, it supports the game, doesn't it? We've heard in the past rumors of like certain store mounts doing very well and making more money than, StarCraft 2. And, it's not surprising to see things like this. I think if you're waking up in the morning, you're coming online and you're seeing a microtransactions in quotation marks in a video game, where have you been? Where have you been for the last, 15, 20 years? Because there was a fateful day, Marty, many, many moons ago. There was a game called Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and people sort of mark it in their diaries as a day the world changed forever. When they added this horse armor for your mount in the game, it was like it's sort of deemed like the first microtransaction in a video game. I don't think it is, but maybe it is. And that's it. We plotted our course. This is the path we've chosen. We accept microtransactions collectively. There's people that don't necessarily buy into them. I'm one of those people that don't really buy into them.
I mean, you don't have to buy the mount. You don't have to buy it. It's up to you if you want to spend that much money, and it doesn't change the game. It doesn't change anything for you. You can still go. It's not like they're taking away the auction house. I think this is the only way to...
Yeah, it's gone. The auction house is closed. The only way you can use it now is if you access it on somebody's mount that they paid $90 for. Now that would be a story, wouldn't it? That would be breaking news if things like that were happening. But what I will say is, we don't really know who benefits from big successes like this. Do the staff benefit from it? Is it just the people at the top? Does it actually really help to support the game? We have no idea. So we're not going to speculate about that, are we? We're not, what's the point? But it would be nice to know, if something like this happened, it's like, oh, but,
we get an extra patch in the World Within.
Yeah, an extra raid or, a few more transmog sets or something. But we don't know. We don't know what that translates into. Being, capitalism, you probably think the worst. And, you're probably right. But at the end of the day, I don't like that saying, but your money, spend it how you like. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Unless, you're buying the mount and you didn't buy food this week or something. Because, that's like a grocery bill in itself. So, be responsible in that regard. But I think the thing, Marty, that got me with this is the fact that they dropped this huge transaction, and the day after they dropped another one, which to me is a little more important. Do you think?
I do think, and to be fair, it's not like a connection I made until you brought it up that this is what we are going to talk about today, or bring up today, because that's actually a really good point. That the day before this little pet that is a charity pet as well. It's money going to a good cause. The day before they dropped a $90 mount. That sounds a little bit.
Yeah, so it's the Rev Impact for the Cure Deshaun charity, and again, a charity pet is also something like some people don't buy those things as well, but you sort of feel good like buying something like, because oh, the proceeds go to charity. So to me, actually, the gripe I have is, oh, you drop the charity, you drop this $90 mount, and and then the day after you drop this charity pet, and to me, I'm just like, you probably should have switched those around. That just looks really bad. That looks bad to me that you're like, hey, let's drop the big one, let's get everyone spending their money, and then the day after, people were like, well, I just spent $90 yesterday. There's definitely people out there that spent $90, then the next day they bought the charity pet and there was no questions about it. But to me, it's just that sort of mental thing of but there are going to be people like, well, I can't justify paying more transactions. I've bought this. I'm never eating again this month.
Christmas is cancelled.
It's over. I can't afford anything now. It's going to live on this mount, and play the auction house from anywhere that you can mount outside or inside. Can you mount inside anywhere? I don't know. But yeah, I think, looking at it that way, Blizzard, sometimes, a lot of the times, you sort of do question the decision making, and this, we don't we don't know the ins and outs of how things operate, who's deciding. It's not like the developers are probably like, hey, let's make a $90 mount. Screw that raid tier, let's make a $90 mount. It's all so separate, isn't it? It's not, it's probably a totally different team deciding, the price for these things, when to drop them. But, it's still makes you feel a little bit uneasy inside. But then, we get some more Warcraft news, and then we forget all about it, don't we? We move on with our lives and everything's okay. But how are you enjoying the mount, actually? So you have the mount. Like, let's break it down. Like, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but somebody very generously gifted you that mount. A very generous person.
Someone did gift this to me, not that, because I think I would have probably bought it myself. The only reason I didn't was because, as I said, I already spent 6 months worth of money on flight tickets this month because I'm going traveling. So I was like kind of low on cash, and I complained about it, and someone gifted me the mount, and I was like, wow, you really shouldn't have done that. But I accepted, and I got the mount. And I have to say that because someone who is way better at making money in real life than in World of Warcraft, I never got the original, the OG Bulbasaur mount. It's really, really nice to have auction house when you ran all the way to the Mythic Plus dungeon, realized that you've forgotten something like consumables, and you just mount up, buy it, and on one side you buy it off the auction house, on the other side of the mount you access that mailbox and grab what you just bought, and then you go in and do your Mythic Plus. That's so
Has it changed your life?
It has changed my life, yeah.
Well, there you go. If you can spend $90 and it changes your life.
I don't know if I think that was $90 worth of improvements in World of Warcraft, but yeah, I mean, still, I'm in shock. It's good. It helps.
So just to wrap up here, you said, I mean, you don't have any statistical evidence to back up your claim, except that 4 people on your Discord bought it like 5 minutes after it went live. But that's good enough. That's good enough for me. That's good enough for me, Marty.
Evidence is all the screenshots you can find on social media with people, showing that Donegal is turned into Jurassic Park. I think it's very easy to say that, this is a success, and we will sadly probably see more things.
That's what I was going to say. Do you think this is going to set a new precedent now?
Yes, 100%.
Blizzard being like, the thing that worries me about that is, it's like you can make money from an expansion, right? You can make money from that. And then maybe they look at like, look how much this mount made.
Is it?
And how much work is it to make a mount compared to an expansion?
But if we want to turn that upside down a little bit, or just turn it on the side, I wouldn't mind having like a mount like this to a year or something like that. Where people, pay crazy amounts for something, and it's a great success that it makes more money than selling the actual expansion, if they then also, either lower or remove the subscription fee.
Okay, well, that's a bold call. That definitely isn't going to happen anytime soon.
I know it's not going to happen, but,
we love some wishful thinking on Talking WoW. We really do.
Because I think that's probably, the main... Probably, if I have to point out a little issue that I have, is that it is a subscription-based game, and then you have this on top as well. If it wasn't a subscription game, I would be, way less inclined to think that this is probably overpriced.
My final thought on this is I would pay $90 for a mount if it let me region transfer. That's my closing statement. I just want to step on that mount. It takes me across the sea, and suddenly I'm playing on US servers, just temporarily. And then I get back on my mount, and I travel back over to the EU. $90 for that mount, I'm buying it all day long, Blizzard. That's just from someone that doesn't really spend anything. You know me, I don't even spend my tenders. So I'm a bit of a Scrooge McDuck. That's how you would get me dipping my fingers into my pocket. What would it take for you, dear listener? Have you already bought them out? Are you enjoying it? We'd love to hear from you. Again, we don't want to make anyone feel bad about their purchases. Spend the money how you wish to do so. And we just love to talk about World of Warcraft, and that is what we have done today. You can find Talking WoW on social media. We're on Blue Sky. We're on YouTube at Talking WoW. Just give us a little comment about what you thought about today's episode. We would truly appreciate that.
And if you want more episodes, we'll totally take a gift code for a Protosaur mount for Tom, right?
I've been Tom.
I've been Marty.
We've been talking WoW.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in, champion. Did you enjoy this episode of Talking WoW? If so, why not drop a review on your podcast catcher of choice or leave us a comment? You can find Talking WoW on
Blue Sky
or YouTube over at Talking WoW. Hope to see you again soon.